Hello, welcome to Food Prep Live January edition. So glad you guys are here. Today we're going to be making two things, and while we're cooking, I'm going to talk all things weight loss, a little bit about me if you don't know me, and at the end of our conversation, I'll be sharing about the Lose It Forever weight loss group. It's a group coaching program, so I'm going to give you lots of details about it, sprinkled in throughout the time that we're cooking and talking and just hanging out together. So this is so fun. I'm so glad you guys are all here. For the replay, I'm so glad you're here too. Thank you for joining us, for signing up. Of course, if you want to cook along, you can. You do not have to. You can make your own thing if you're not interested in the food that I've chosen. I've just found that food prep is a habit that I've gotten into that works really well for me to lose 80 pounds and keep it off for the past 5 years. So I'll be explaining a little bit about who I am. If you are interested in looking into the group coaching program, I have a link that I would love to share with you. I'm going to be putting it in the chat. So let me see if I can get this here. And then you're welcome to just take a look at that sales page. If you want to just take a look at that, you can go ahead and do that now, or you can do it later. For the replay, I will have that on the comments below. Ask any questions, just unmute yourself. If you have any problems with unmuting, let me know. And the chat is available for you, but I am the only one that can see it. So it's not like a chat with each other kind of thing. As we cook, I'm going to ask some questions. I love for this to be interactive. So yeah, just jump in, chime in as we're talking. So let's get to it. For those of you who are, I guess the two that are cooking, you guys have the recipes. Yes, just say yes or no. Otherwise, I'll put them in the chat, but it doesn't look like, and Sue, it doesn't look like you're cooking, so you don't need the recipes. So, okay, so I don't need to put that in the chat. But during this time, as we're talking, I just want to talk about how food prep has helped me to save time, save money, because you're not wasting food by like buying a bunch of stuff and then putting it in the fridge. And then 3 weeks later, there's a science experiment. Saves so much energy because I just get it done on a Sunday and then can relax the rest of the week. All right, so we're going to start with cornbread. So here's what I have done so far. I have melted. We're going to start with, oh, go ahead, Jan. Yep. I know you're all excited because you did the chili first. Oh, wait, let me ask you to unmute.
Okay.
There you are. Go ahead.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
I wasn't able. I don't have. Strangely enough, I don't have corn, but I do have a can of.
Oh,
I do have a can of cream corn though. Would that?
so the corn, we don't need corn for the cornbread. The only thing that corn was in is the chili, and I
Chili.
think that's optional. But
Okay.
truly, yeah, the reason, in fact, I'm not even going to follow the recipe super exactly. So my thought is we start with the cornbread, we'll let that bake a while, and then we'll get to the chili. Does that sound like a good plan? Does that sound good? Okay. All right, let me go get my thing. So what I've done so far is this is actually what I'm going to be cooking it in. It's an antique. It's my mama's a cast iron. I think they call it a chicken fryer. And then I also have these. They're little cornbread corn holders, and I buttered them. I just got took a stick of butter. So the first thing it said in the recipe is that you're going to gather all the ingredients, preheat the oven to 375 if you haven't done that yet. And if you're putting your cornbread in something different, to grease an 8-inch square pan, I don't need to do that because I'm using my skillet. So I just want to say a word about cornbread. In the past, when I would be struggling losing weight, I was overweight my entire life, and I thought eating something like cornbread was not allowed. I thought that would be just for, well, once I get to my goal weight, then I'm allowed to have all these like exception with, it felt like a forbidden food. But one of the things that I use the way I teach weight loss is it's a sustainability weight loss program that you eat everything, that there are no such thing as good food or bad food, that all the foods are available. And cornbread is one of those. And I'm so glad it's back in my life because I love it. And I use all the butter, I use all the buttermilk. It's delicious. Okay. So it says to start with a half a cup of butter and melt it in the pan. That's what I've done already. And then I just keep it in here, remove it from the heat, and then stir in the sugar and quickly whisk in the egg. So it's a cup of sugar. I have it in here. Look at me, all professional. There's my sugar. I'm gonna whisk that in. I need to find a landing spot for some of this stuff. And then quickly whisk in some eggs. So I have 2 eggs that I've actually whisked, that I've whisked already. So I'm gonna let the sugar and the butter, get together here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that a little bit. I have like a hot pad underneath here. And then it says quickly whisk an egg. I know I made this recipe one other time, but honestly, I can't remember this part at all. Or maybe I just did it the wrong way. That's entirely possible. So, by the way, for those of you who are curious about why I'm choosing to cook, it's interesting because oops, there's somebody. Somebody's here. All right. Oh, yay. Um, that this idea came to me because I love finding easy ways to do things. I'm not necessarily the best cook in the world. In fact, ask anybody, ask Sue. Out of all the people in the whole family, I am not the one who like loves to hang out in the kitchen and cook all day. That's the other people. Actually, that's Sue, much more than me. But what I do love is saving time and energy and money and making yummy food that feeds me and feeds our family and makes it easy. So I'm all about making things easy. And that's what this little thing is all about, is helping my clients and my friends and family and whoever is here today. Hey, Jadan, it was nice. It's nice. Thanks for joining. So happy you're here to make it easy. Okay, so we did the butter. Are you cooking with us or you're watching? You can just nod or are you cooking? Yeah, okay, wait.
No, I'm watching. I just got
Perfect.
finished cooking, so
Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. I'm going to put you on mute. That's perfect. Thank you. All right. So butter and eggs, and then butter, sugar, and eggs. And then we're going to combine buttermilk with baking soda. So here's this baking soda going in the buttermilk. So I have a cup of buttermilk. I just got this at Walmart. Oops. Hang on. I lost you guys. My mouse disappeared you. Buttermilk looks like that. So, okay. So that says whisk that together. And then mix this into the skillet. All right. So whisking that, it looks very odd. This is think of a little bit of a different buttermilk recipe. The one I usually use, honestly, is the Jiffy cornbread one. You know, the blue box, the light blue box. But sometimes it's nice to, cook from scratch every once in a while. So like I said, I'm all about making things easy, but for today, we're doing the real deal. So that is that. And then it looks like we're adding in the flour, and then we're gonna do, so the recipe says, add the cornmeal, flour, and salt. Oops, I forgot to get salt. How much salt? A quarter teaspoon. Do this. All right, so cornmeal goes in, and then flour goes in, and then salt. And I wanted to show you guys these cute, oh wait, where's a quarter? Oh, well, I'm gonna do a half of a half. My quarter is missing for some reason. Anyway, these are really cute. I got them from my sister Sue, actually. They're the greatest little measuring cups, measuring spoons. Remember when I was talking about Christmas before, what things to ask for? What's nice is they fit in those little, you know how when you get like a thing, you have to get a tablespoon into a jar like this, and you got a tablespoon and you can't, like the round kind can't fit in there. Case in point, here's exhibit A, it like doesn't go in. So these narrow ones go in. It's so fun. So it's a little tip, a helpful tip. Okay, now this says, well blended until only a few lumps remain. So did the salt. I remembered all the ingredients. That is a first. I'm pretty sure that's a first. So, and then what I'm going to do is spoon some of this most of it, I'm just gonna put this pot right in the oven. But before I do that, I'm gonna spoon it into my pretty little, and this is also an antique. This was my mom's, this antique cast iron corn shaped muffin tin or whatever you call it, corn sticks. So there's that.
Amy,
So
can I
fun.
ask a question?
Please go ahead.
So if I wanted to just put my I'm cooking mine in a cast iron pan. Can I just put that cast iron pan right in the oven?
I think so. That's what I'm doing. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's what I
Okay.
decided. It saves on dishes. In fact, I was like getting all the bowls out. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even need a bowl for this. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm all
Awesome. Okay.
about, yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions? Any other things to everybody else's? You're doing okay? Getting there? All right. So a little lumpy, which is perfect, evidently, according to the recipe. All right, now what I'm going to do is very carefully, we'll see how this goes, spoon some of this in here. So most of my cornbread is going to be in my cast iron skillet, but I'm going to have some corn sticks and corn stick shape. That's really fun. So for those of you who have been trying to lose weight, tell me a little bit about your weight loss story. Who has tried to lose weight? What has been working? What doesn't work? If anyone, if you're at a place where you can talk, or for the people that are watching, this is the interactive part, since I'm just kind of scooping stuff in here. Anyone want to share? And if you want to share, just unmute. What do you hate about weight loss? What's been frustrating? Because I'm your girl. I'm happy to help. Oh, Jan, go ahead.
I'm perpetually trying.
Yay.
And I take little baby steps every now and then. I get these little baby steps and I feel fine because Amy says my journey is my journey.
100%. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there have been a lot of pretty big mindset changes that I've been able to think about, and some change, other changes I've been able to make because of making those mindset changes. So, like I said, ongoing, always process.
Always. And that's everything, isn't it, Jan? I mean, it is not giving up. Really, that's the one thing I will just say. I kind of joke about this, but it's really true. It took me 20 years to figure out what worked for me. So I started my weight loss journey started when I was in my 30s, mid 30s. I'm 60. I turned 60 in June. And hang on, let's second. Yeah. Turned 60 in June. Okay, I'm gonna, and then and it wasn't until I was mid-50s that I discovered this weight loss system that worked for me. And I lost weight. I did Weight Watchers. I tried the South Beach diet. I tried, a bunch of different little things that did not seem to click. They would work for a little while and then the weight would come back on. Even Weight Watchers worked great for a short period of time. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, garbage bowl, an extra little bowl to make food prep easy. I put this out on my counter. I also have my trash can handy to eliminate steps. All about simplicity. Okay, I'm getting ready to put these in the oven. And then these go in for, and I'll get back to the story, 40 minutes. Perfect. So then once these go in, we can get to work on the chili. But basically, it wasn't until I learned, but getting back to Weight Watchers, I did lose about 60 pounds with Weight Watchers and kept it off for a little while. But I found for me, so I lost the 60 pounds, then I got pregnant with Ben. And then after that, basically struggled between 200, 220. So my highest was 225, struggled yo-yoing between 225 and 175. Like if I was in my 170s, I was like, woohoo, we're there, we can relax. And then guess what would happen? I would start eating like normal because I was dieting, and then the weight would just come storming back and bring a few friends with it, So it wasn't until I learned the systems that I teach, the sustainability system, which is eating all the foods you love, just eating them with control. That things really shifted for me. And like Jan said, definitely the mindset. It's so much about mindset. So when you guys are ready, say the word when your stuff is in the oven, and then we're gonna get going on the chili. I'm gonna just quick wipe this off with the batter. Oh, how did it go with Christmas cookies? Last month, we made Christmas cookies. Did anyone notice the difference when you were making Christmas cookies? Was it easier? Was it harder to not lick the batter from what we learned last month? Any opinions on that one? I did put my plate out. I did my bites, licks, and tastes plate out. And I did have cookie dough one time, I will say. I mean, chocolate chip cookie dough. It's just so good. So, hey, for those of you who aren't in the Northeast or Southeast Pennsylvania, we're having a snowstorm today. We're gonna get 5 inches. I'm very excited. Maybe more. Oh, and drink your water. In case you didn't know, this is my water jug that has 64 ounces on it. I keep it handy. So I'm gonna drink it, take a little sip. And so, Jan, you had said you got some of your chili done. I'm gonna actually just go ahead and get started with chopping some things because I didn't chop anything yet. So we're gonna start with chopping the recipe calls for you to do like puree your white beans. I'm not doing that. I just decided I like them whole, so I'm eliminating that step. So the first thing I'm going to start working with is I'm going to chop the onion, jalapeno pepper, and poblano peppers. So when you guys get there, just go ahead and start chopping your peppers, and that's what I'm going to be doing.
Amy,
go ahead.
I did puree a can of beans just because I thought it sounded different.
Yeah,
so
it does.
It turned out
Great.
really, it's very
How do you
good.
like it?
The chili is really good.
Oh, is it good? So the
Yeah.
funny thing is, this recipe I haven't done before because I
Well-
couldn't find the one that I normally use. I couldn't find it online. Go ahead.
And that,
Catherine.
well, I do one with the pureed beans and
Okay.
the other beans, and I love it. I think it's
Oh, good.
amazing. It makes it feel like kind of a creamier soup.
Oh,
It kind of,
good.
messes with your brain a little bit, makes you think you're eating
You're
something
like
just a
having
little bit
something
more.
decadent. Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
absolutely. That's why I put that it was optional. I just decided I'm just doing mine the normal way because I like to have something to chew. Now it said, again, I haven't made this, but it did say in the instructions that it does come out quite thick. So, which is fine. I like, especially in the winter and the colder months, I like a, stewier kind of thing. I will just say, this is one of those things that I usually make, right after, I do this normally right after New Year's, or like either on or near New Year's Day, but I saved it to do it with you guys. Because I love having something, it's like a habit. It's sort of like, oh, Christmas is over. I'm really sad. By the way, I was really sad again this year. This is just who I am. Every Christmas, it's just, I go through like a little bit of a, Anyway, this is one of the things that I usually use to help bring me out of my little slump. I always know that I have something really healthy and yummy to eat after the holidays are over. So, anyway, back to what I was talking about. So I'm going to just chop some onions, and I think they all go, they saute in some olive oil, which I already threw in there. So onion, poblano peppers, and the jalapeno. I got mine at Walmart. They did, look at them. They're gorgeous. That's so beautiful. I love poblanos. Now they're not super strong. So I'm actually going to do 2 jalapenos in mine. So just going to chop this up. Anyway, for those of you who, what do you guys like to eat in the winter? Is there something in particular that you enjoy cooking in the winter? More so than summer? Just unmute yourself.
Just
Time for
regular
soups.
chili I like.
I'm sorry, what?
Regular chili I like. With chili.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I do too. I have one, I almost made it. It's it uses stout beer in it, but we never have beer in our house. So I put black coffee. I read a thing that you could like substitute black coffee. We always have black coffee around. It is delicious. It's very thick and rich and dark. And I have cornbread with that too. I probably will make that. So after we're finished with this chili, I probably will make regular chili. We ate it. Ben and I made that when we went to Maine one year, and Ben and I ate off of that for 2 weeks. We kind of got tired of it after a while, but it was really good. Anybody else? What else do you guys like to make?
Soups. Just love
Soup,
soup in the
soups.
winter.
Yeah, me too. What kind of soup? What's your fave? You have a favorite?
White chicken chili is one of my favorites.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, you're in the right place. That's good. That's awesome. Is there anything on your like that you like to eat in the winter that feels like I would eat it, but I want to lose weight, so I choose not to, or something like that. Is there anything that comes to your mind like that? Because maybe there's an easier way to do it. I can't think of it. Like the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't know, this is nothing that I would normally do, but mac and cheese or something hot. It's not hot and creamy. I just realized as I'm talking, I cut the onion not in my normal way. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not obviously making a mess here. When
What
I was talking,
about
yeah, go ahead.
chowders, like a potato chowder, a clam chowder with potatoes or a corn chowder?
Yeah, I love those. That's
Is it-
yummy. But if you want to find an easier a way to cheat that, I don't know for sure, but my guess is you could. I actually so there's as far as recipes and ideas, I've been really seeing quite a few wonderful ideas on Instagram, and this one is using cashews, and you grind them up with some type
Mm.
of to make like a creamy sauce. I bet also these white beans would do the same thing, is my guess.
Right.
Or cauliflower and then puree it. And maybe to start with, do a little of each. Again, I'm not a chef or a cook, but I would imagine using some type of vegetable instead of cream might be a really interesting thing to play around with. My guess is you could find recipes like that online or just, Googling it. But
Yeah.
because I do love chowders as well. I mean, yeah, we're chowder folks. The
Yeah.
white chowders for sure. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right. Only
because there's the other kind.
right.
The Manhattan. But
I have to say, it was really nice to find white chicken chili that wasn't made with heavy cream and all
do they
and all of those
normally?
things. Yeah, like that's what all I grew up with was the heavy cream kind. And
Oh,
so it's pretty decadent to find a yummy white chicken chili that doesn't, take
okay,
heavy cream or like lots and lots of that kind of fat.
okay. I did not know. So that's probably why they have you puree the like like we were talking about. That's probably why that you have you puree half the beans to give you that same thing. I didn't realize, like I said, the recipe that I've normally done is it's Lynn Rosetto Casper. She has a show called The Splendid Table, or she used to. She's no longer on the show. Anyway, it's from like 2014. I could not find it. And it's very close to this one, except that you cook the chicken. In this case, I did buy rotisserie chicken from Costco, of course. Of course, my $5 chicken from Costco. And I actually wanted to say that I bought two of them because actually my mother-in-law is sick. So I decided I want to make some Jewish penicillin for her, also known as chicken soup. So so I got two chickens and I took all the flesh off the bones. In fact, before I forget, better go get that out of the fridge. Or my chicken chili will have no chicken. Yeah. So this morning I deboned two chickens and I took all the meat off. By the way, let me just say, my amazing husband, Greg, normally does be deboning the chicken. I don't like touching chicken and the skin and the tendons, and I don't know, it kind of grosses me out. So he normally does that for me. So sorry, girls, he's all mine. I'm just saying, you cannot have him. He's the best. But this time, he was busy. We were busy with some other things, and I did it myself. So now I can't say that I don't know how to do it because I totally deboned 2 chickens. Oh well. Anyway, so now I'm on deboning chicken duty. So the second chicken I'm going to use it for chicken noodle soup. And since I already had the chicken, I already have the corn. I'm going to use the corn in some salads later. I have some black beans I'm going to throw in some salads later. Today, after we're done our group chat here, I'm actually going to be making my salads for the week. I don't make them every week, and some food prep Sundays are just a little bit lighter. Last week, I think I just made like pancakes or something. I make pancakes ahead of time for my mother-in-law and for myself. I forget what else I did. I can't remember now. But some weeks I just do a lot less. And this week is just going to be a heavier cooking day. It just so happens I really would like to have more stuff on hand. So I have a plan to make chicken noodle soup. I also bought some sweet potatoes. I'm going to cook some of those up for this week. And then the other thing that I do that makes life really simple is whatever you can do that's easy. So just asking yourself, what can I do to make food prep easy? Sometimes it's a matter of just picking something up at Costco. So my mother-in-law, she's got a sort of a specific need for food that's easy to chew. She has a hard time chewing certain things. So looking for softer things, softer meals. I picked up at Costco, I picked up a shepherd's pie that I'm going to make. I'm going to cook it this week. And then we'll have it a couple times. But then I'm going to, I'm going to freeze some of it too. So whatever I do, I always think of it that way. Same thing with the chicken soup. With some of this will get frozen because I usually get tired of things after a little while. So I'll probably freeze some of this soup. So that's why I don't necessarily have to do food prep every week because this week is like I'm sort of seeding, the next few weeks and months. I'm going to have this amazing chicken chili in there. I even freeze cornbread. I freeze anything you can freeze, basically. French toast. I sometimes will make her French toast for breakfast. And whenever I'm making it, I just make a whole bunch at the same time. So remind me not to rub my eyes. Just if you see me rubbing my eyes, like go like this and say stop, because I always do that. And then I'm going to be a mess. Just saying. So this gets a nice fine dice. This is the poblano. Do you guys have an opinion about freezing things or not freezing things? Is there anything that you've made that doesn't freeze well?
No, but you need to wear gloves. You need to invest in some of these rubber
Oh,
gloves.
is that what you're wearing?
Oh, yes.
I noticed that. Good idea. But tell me about them. Are they just regular, what do you call them?
Yeah, I got them at Costco for my husband because he has to do some stuff with the car.
The car.
And so he asked me to pick some up. And then one day I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try those. And they're great for cooking, especially talk about the yucky chicken. Then you don't have to touch it.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that could be a game changer. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah, but
oh my gosh,
because of the pepper, I thought.
Yeah, smart, very smart. Yes,
because I'm one that I rub my eyes all the time, and I'm always like, ugh.
And then sorry.
And
yes,
having a problem.
Yeah. So for those of you who are interested, the Lose It Forever weight loss program is a coaching program. I'm just going to talk about that a little bit as I'm chopping. We get together on Thursday nights. It's so fun for those who are in it. Sandra's in the program and Jan is. We have a blast. You guys can chime in anytime about some of the things we're talking about in there. This month, actually, we're focusing on habits and habit formation and creating your own habit protocol. That's what we're going to be talking about this Thursday. So For those of you who are here or watching the replay, if you sign up for the program, you'll be able to be coming on the call on this coming Thursday. And I'm going to be working with clients to help you create your own habits protocol. One of the things that when I first started losing weight, I just really noticed that I needed a couple of really easy wins. And one of them was the easiest win for me. One of the first things I learned was setting up a morning routine, and then just being really proud of myself that I had figured out this morning routine. And it consists of like getting up a little bit earlier than normal, spending some time. When I first started, it was just to get outside and go for a walk. That's all I could manage. I went outside for a quick, maybe 15-minute, maybe sometimes it would be 30, but really it didn't matter. It was just me getting my body outside. All of a sudden I noticed I started feeling a little bit better just by getting outside and getting some fresh air. And I can't remember now what time of year that was. I guess that was November. Yeah. So I found a way to make it happen all winter long, and found that I really started loving just having that time to be contemplative, to be outside, to either be thinking about things or listening to podcasts. I listened ironically to 2 books about habits that literally changed my life. The Power of Habit and Atomic Habits. I listened early on to those 2 books, and it was pretty interesting that as I was creating this habit, listening to those 2 books reinforced my habit that I now still have, like all these years later. That was probably about 6 or so years ago that all started. But for me, it was the habit formation that kind of kicked everything off for me, which was spending some time with me, allowing myself to just have that time in the morning. And then eventually I layered in things like evaluating my food, noticing what I was eating, and making a food plan for each day, which the way I do my morning, instead of starting with exercise, I do some journaling. I do a quiet time. I do like a scripture study quiet time first. And then I will do journaling, and then my daily planning, my daily assessing, just noticing what I've eaten without judgment. So this is where the mindset piece comes in, that whatever I was doing, I just made a deal with myself that I wasn't going to berate myself or shame myself in any way. So when it came to going for a short walk, if I felt like I didn't even break a sweat, no shame. I was proud of myself for going for a walk. That was the deal. I had to promise myself that I was just going to celebrate whatever it was that I was doing. When it came to even the food I was choosing, I was writing down all my food regardless of what it was. And so let me just tell you girls, when I started losing weight, I didn't like cooking. I still don't really like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the cooking person in my family. And doesn't come naturally to me at all. Or it didn't. I shouldn't say that. It does now, but it didn't come naturally to me at all. So there was a time when I would eat lean cuisine, and I would put that on my plan. And my deal was I wasn't going to shame myself for eating the lean cuisine, but I was planning for it. I honored my body with it. I enjoyed it. And once I learned to accept that piece, that it's like, it's okay. It doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to be, beautiful Instagram ready meals every minute, and just made a deal with myself that I wasn't gonna, you know, shame myself or berate myself or think it should be different. I was just gonna love myself where I was at. That's what started moving the needle for me with weight loss, because I made a promise that I wasn't going to say it wasn't good enough. Like going for a 15-minute walk, saying that that's not enough time. In the past, I would say, well, I should really be breaking a sweat. I should be really walking fast. I should be walking for a half hour or an hour. And then guess what would happen? 5 o'clock or, the morning would roll around and I wouldn't do anything. And then I'd really feel terrible. And I also didn't have the advantage of getting outside, enjoying the weather. when it came to food, if I would shame myself for eating those lean cuisines, I would think, well, if I was a good person, if I was a good, whatever you want to say, woman, especially as a woman, I think we like, I don't know, there's some kind of like expectation that we have to like love all the culinary things and not try to make things too easy, that it, we need to struggle or suffer or something, that if it's not suffering, it doesn't count in some way. Um, and so when I'd be eating those lean cuisines, had no, for the first time in my life, I was like, nope, this is where I'm at right now. I can manage buying a lean cuisine and eating it. And that felt so good because I was because of the way I was talking about it to myself. And that really made a huge difference. So when I'm coaching clients right now, that's what we talk about is just sort of noticing how much you're eating, what you're eating, and not judging it, that putting things on your plan that you'll actually eat. So the way that works is you create your own protocol. So my protocol when I first started was fast food at times. I would get McDonald's, I would get fast food. I would get these, like I said, these lean cuisines. Whatever was easy, whatever was doable. I think I told you guys about my Cliff Bar. There was a time when I was on the road salesperson, so I was in the car all the time. So I don't know if I told you. So I would eat a Cliff Bar for lunch every day. It was like a white chocolate macadamia in that Cliff Bar with some, I forget with other things too, but I was not ready to get, like, I was just told myself this was okay. This is where I was until I was ready to try something that was less processed, realized that I didn't need it anymore, but it took time to wiggle out of it. I don't know if I told you guys the time that I was on the road and I was at a doctor's office and went to McDonald's, got a hamburger. So, and by the way, let me just tell you how that started. So I would start with, quarter pounders. They were my favorite. Quarter pounder with cheese. So when I first started losing weight, it was maybe, can I get a quarter pounder without cheese, but just get a quarter pounder? Can I get the French fries? I love McDonald's French fries. Can I just get maybe a medium instead of an extra large? And then call that good. Put it on the plan. Call that like, yay me. I ate the French fries, that I put it on the plan and I ate them and enjoyed them. Well, one time I was at McDonald's. I can't remember if it was on my plan. It may not have been. Quite honestly, I may have just been one of those days when I decided to do it. And my battery died in my car. So I don't know how you guys work it in your family, but in my family, everybody calls Greg, my husband, Greg. I could have called AAA and kept it under this, as a secret, but I called Greg. He's like, oh, where are you parked? I'm like, at a McDonald's parking lot. He's like, oh, are you? Very interesting. I'm like, and in the past, I literally would have had so much shame about that. And like, how funny is it that of all the places that my battery would die would be at that parking lot, and everything. But I think by that time, things had started wiggling for me just a little bit so that I could I was like very matter of fact about it. I'm like, yes, I was at the McDonald's parking lot. I was getting something from McDonald's. I recognized that I don't necessarily want to keep doing this, but for today, for that day, that was my best. I was doing my best in that moment and celebrating that. And really, I think that was the beginning of me really wiggling out of the shame spiral and then the possible regain as a result of that. Because what happens is you feel the shame and then you feel terrible. You think, I shouldn't be doing this. What's wrong with me? Questioning it, looking for evidence of all the other times I failed to lose weight, because believe me, I tried, as I said, for 20 years. And I'll explain that in just a minute, but because it was longer than, it wasn't like I tried for 50 years. It was 20 years when I was concentrating on losing weight, and I'll tell you what the impetus for that was. But that was the first time in that 20 years that I've really noticed, wait a minute, it doesn't matter that I went to McDonald's. It's actually okay. It's okay that I for whatever reason that day, that's what I needed. And there's no shame in that. What happened then as a result of that, when you don't feel shame in it and you just see it as a matter of fact, then all of a sudden I didn't have to hide it anymore. And when you don't have to hide anymore and lie, you start looking, I started feeling comforted. I started feeling confident. I started feeling, yeah, confident that I was okay. It didn't matter. And so then I decided, wait a minute, what do I really want? I started asking myself that question. What is it that I really want? And all of a sudden, McDonald's did not seem that appealing anymore. And after that experience, that probably was one of the last times that I did something like that. Because I didn't make it a big problem, I think all of a sudden it was one of those things where I didn't necessarily feel the need to hide anymore. And then I got to decide what is it that I really wanted for my life. And not that and I still don't think there's any shame in McDonald's. I do think they do have the best French fries. I'm not going to lie. I would get them. Now I choose not to because I don't like the way they make me feel. And again, no, not because I think it's a bad or thing, but I have just decided I like the way fresh food makes me feel better. It was the same thing with, like I said, with that Cliff Bar. I decided that less processed food feels so much better in my body and I'm worth it. So we talked about this a little bit, but just that it's a little bit backwards where you think, um, I'm worth it, so I'm not going to do this. A lot of times we think, well, I deserve this because I worked really hard. So I deserve McDonald's. I deserve a break. My new way of thinking is I love myself so much that I get what I deserve. I look for things that I feel like I deserve, and I don't think McDonald's is what serves me any longer because I find ways to celebrate myself every day. I have my own back. I love myself the way I am, flaws and all. Let me tell you, there's a lot of them. And so I don't have that need to, pardon me, find relief from food like I used to. Whereas before, eating that when the first hit of the McDonald's French fry would hit my mouth, I would feel like a relief. Because I create my own relief, I create my own good feelings for myself. It no longer needs to come from the food. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, let me know. Pretty heavy as we're chopping here, but this is what it's all about. I know for some, I remember the first time I was like, when I was getting better at planning food, it was I can drive by. You know what? I have something really yummy planned at home. So whether it be the chicken chili or something else I was really looking forward to, I think at one point I was in a mushroom risotto phase. And I remember being out thinking I could go get something at McDonald's. And I was like, no, but I have mushroom risotto tonight planned for my dinner. Like I mean, McDonald's is fine if you have to, but I want mushroom risotto. So I was all excited about that. That was a big switch for me. So I started planning my food. I didn't feel the need to, you know, get stuff really fast all of a sudden. So anyone want to chime in on anything? Any questions? I'm getting ready to go over to the stove. Oh, I forgot that.
I
oh, yeah,
find one of
yeah.
my fallbacks when I am traveling a lot. I'm trying to avoid eating, I mean, going out to fast food, but what, I have found that works for me is I fall back on the Wendy's chili a lot
Yeah,
because I
that's a
know
good
that
one.
has fiber in it and that fills me up. Not everybody likes chili.
Right.
I get it. And not everybody even maybe likes Wendy's chili, but typically speaking, beans have a lot of fiber. I think
Yeah.
they have like 5 grams of fiber. I don't know how much Wendy's has it actually, but it's a way for me to avoid the sandwich, which
Yeah.
sometimes I don't want to go into a restaurant and spend a boatload of money on, you know, a good meal, but Wendy's chili always works for me because
That's
I
great.
know that I can go and I can get that chili. I don't have to,
Yeah.
you know, go get the soft drink, and I don't have to go get, I can even add a little cheese to it. I don't have a problem adding some cheese to
Yeah.
it, but it
Yeah.
keeps me away from the bread, which is
Yeah.
a pretty big no-no for me, even though
Okay.
I know that, you know, typically you can have some,
Yeah.
but it's a big, for me, I love bread. And so
Yeah.
it doesn't love me a whole lot. And I know that.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there's not that many fast food restaurants that you can go to that will,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't go to a lot. Maybe you guys have some that you can suggest to me since I do travel. I would be open to knowing because I don't really try out a lot of new places like fast foods. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you what some of the fast food names have actually because I never go
Yeah.
to them. But if you know of something that's more
I
common,
do.
not McDonald's
Yeah.
or Wendy's
A
or
Chick a
Burger King,
Chick-fil-A.
those
Well,
are
Chick-fil-A
what do
Chick-fil-A
you
has the best salad. They have the
the
best
salads.
chick.
And I
Yeah, it's
heard they
a
actually have, and I haven't had it yet. I've heard they actually
so
have
good.
a good chili, not a chili. Is it a chili? They have a good soup, and I haven't tried it yet, but I heard it's
Oh,
excellent.
okay. I did not know that. That's a good tip. No, I
Yeah.
have had their market. Go ahead, Jan.
You can also get very good grilled chicken wraps there
Yeah.
if you do
Yeah.
kind of want a sandwich, but not the
Mhm.
roll.
All the bread,
Yeah. And you can get fruit, you can get a side of fruit, you can get, now they are expensive,
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, more
They
expensive,
can. They can be, yeah.
but,
Yeah.
and also they get very crowded. But
Mhm.
they've come up with a method by which they have employees out in the parking lot with
Yeah.
little iPads taking orders. So it goes fast, but it can get really crowded.
They
Yeah.
do they
A
must be
very
doing something right.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
The other
one.
thing
Thanks, Jan. Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing I do, and I'm talking about traveling mostly because you know, when I'm home, I can get anything I want and easily, but
Yeah.
typically, I will either purchase a hummus of some sort, to avoid like more of the creamy dips. What else will I get? I'll get vegetables, and I mean, I'm usually traveling by myself. Amy knows my work is a little it's as an insurance adjuster, so it makes me travel long and far, and um I want to eat something, you know, but I need to eat something healthy. Oh, I know what it was. Guacamole. Guacamole is my hummus, and guacamole would be my go-tos for like a dip. And then I'll just take the cucumber and eat the cucumber as it is because I don't have time for all that chopping. You know, if especially
Right.
if I'm driving, I'm in the middle of, you know, I'm trying to think. Sometimes I may have thought to bring a knife. That's not number one in my packing. Usually I have a few hours to get on the road and boom, I'm gone and driving a long way. So I don't really think about the knife too much, although sometimes I do have one. But yeah, that celery, I'll buy celery for traveling. The whole thing. I'll, you know, cucumber and celery, anything that's easy for me to hold while I'm
Right.
driving is what I like.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not easy to eat chili while you're driving, but I mean, it could be worse. Yeah. But I'm kind of, other than just like the fresh veggies, because I think, oh, I need to have fresh veggies because I'm sitting a lot. Um, I typically would personally tend to something warm other than the fresh veggies, and not much I
Right.
like fruits, but I would just go pick up a banana or, you know, whatever is
Yeah.
easy for me in the car. Of course, you know, spoons and buying something at Chick-fil-A is fine too for that. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I like good food. I haven't really found a whole lot that I feel like, you know, okay, this is healthy, it fills me, and it's also comforting to me. And that comforting part is something that's hard to find. That's
So,
still healthy.
okay. So this is where, and this is really what we talk about, that food's job, food has one purpose, which is to solve hunger. And so this is where it gets a little fuzzy, because comfort is an emotion, or wanting comfort means that you're uncomfortable in some way. And so sort of getting to the bottom of that, if you don't mind me just kind of pointing this out, that we all love talking about comfort food, and this does feel very comforting. Having something warm feels really comforting. But if you are looking for food to provide the comfort, then you may be having, you might have trouble. And let me just say, a McDonald's French fries can feel comforting in that moment, right? For a minute, for a half a second, right? Till all of a sudden it's not comfortable anymore. Or like a warm sticky bun feels like comfort food, or mac and cheese feels really comfy and cozy, until all of a sudden you're feeling kind of, gross in your stomach, and then that's not comfortable anymore. So creating comfort in your body, and then all of a sudden you don't need to have food fit that bill, is sort of one of the things that I teach about. What
I
do you
think
of
the
that?
other thing, and maybe comfort is the wrong word to use, because I think that when I, like, for example, anywhere, it doesn't matter whether I'm at home or if I'm out and about, I want to feel like, and okay, there's that word, and I should probably not use that word because it always gets me in trouble. Feelings. My husband is always talking about it's not about your feelings. But if you're not satisfied, it's going to be a problem when you're eating. You have to come to a sort, to a sense of, I'm satisfied, I'm pleased.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in eating anything else. But that can be kind of challenging, because to find
Yeah.
food that will satisfy you, that tastes good. I think chili tastes good, so that satisfies me.
Well,
It's only
there's actually
one thing.
there's also something to be said that, and this is important, and that is fat. And making sure that you have something that has enough healthy fat is that satiation. Like what you're talking about is an actual thing. Like that's definitely something to consider. By the way, onions, peppers, I just put in the garlic. You guys are ahead of me, I think. Dan and Sandra, I think you guys are all ahead of me. So I'm just sauteing my onions and peppers and garlic, and then I'm going to be adding in the spices. So here's basically coriander, cumin, and oh, I did, instead of ancho chili powder, I don't know if you guys had trouble finding it. Hold that thought, Janan. I had trouble finding it, so I did chipotle chili pepper instead. That's what I looked it up, and it said that was a good substitute. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. But anyway, so yeah, so back to, yes, finding something that is gonna stick with you, stick with your stomach. And that is true, because sometimes those bready, a sandwich actually may not stick with you that much. So they're saying to kind of cook this a little bit with the spices. And finding something that's going to be, like, we think of something that's high fat as all bad. This is where I think cream, even in moderation, unless you have like a, physical issue with the cream, might not always be a bad thing if it's with that fat, as long as if it doesn't upset your stomach or that. But finding something that, and then just not eating as much of it, maybe having a limited amount because you're feeling satiated. So, which ironically is another thing that we talk about in the Lose It Forever weight loss group, is waiting till you're physically hungry, knowing the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger, and in learning to feel your satiation in your body. Sandra, did you have something you wanted to ask? I'm sorry, I just realized you're just hanging out. Perfect. All right, so wait, let me just see where I'm here on the thing. All right. All right, so first I want it to cook frequently for 1 minute. I'm toasting the spices, and now I'm doing the chicken broth and the beans. I'm bringing it to a boil, and then they simmer for 20 minutes. Okay. And then, oh, that simmers, and then you put the chicken in at the end, I think, which is different than the one that I do. Like I said, add this in.
Only
And
if
then
you
add
have
the,
only if you have blended beans do you put them in now. Otherwise, you wait and
Got
put them
it.
in at the end with your chicken.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. I got that. Now I'm just doing broth, right? Thank you. Good thing you guys are here. This could have been, yeah, this is interesting. I like how this looks. I like, toasting the thing. And guess what that timer is? Cornbread. It might be cornbread time. Oh my gosh, very exciting. All right. Oh, okay. Well, the sticks are done. Oh, hey, caramelized. I call it caramelized. This is how I roll. Hey, they're a little dark. It's okay. They're going to be really yummy, I'm sure. I definitely should have done less time for that. And this is done too, I can tell. So yay, yummy cornbread. Yum, yum, yum. I'm so excited. So who's coming to my house next weekend? Raise your hand if you're coming over. I don't know. Will there be any left? I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe. So yeah, Stu's coming over. All right, so then this simmers for 20 minutes, I believe. And actually we're getting close to time. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about the Lose It Forever weight loss program. If you guys are interested, whoever is interested, whether you're here or on the replay, I'm offering a bonus. It's a half-hour phone call or a Zoom call to create your individualized weight loss program just for you. If you're interested in joining the group within 48 hours, that is available for the next 48 hours. Again, I will put the link in the chat. Let me see. Oops, wrong button. Hang on. We talk a lot about all these kinds of things. Like I said, we're talking right now about creating habits. Next month, we'll be diving into a lot more of the mindset work. But more than that, most importantly, it's an amazing place to hang out with some other like-minded women where you get to talk about your weight loss goals. Just remember, I almost forgot. I just set my timer for 20 minutes. What are things that are important to you in weight loss? We celebrate each other. We celebrate each other's wins. One of the things that I talk about, I have a confidence protocol that I teach everyone. And that is really diving into your wins, noticing where you're winning, where you're doing well, so that those can be repeatable. We celebrate those together. We talk about them every week. We have some coaching. Quite honestly, the teaching is just one piece of it. It's the coaching, coming with your questions, getting them answered, talking to other like-minded women, getting coached by me. I'm on all the calls. I do have some guest coaches from time to time as needed, but for the most part, it is me that's coaching. We talk about getting to the bottom of what it is that's getting in your way of losing all your weight forever. Sometimes we do talk about concepts of like ideas or suggestions, but mostly really the biggest shifts I've noticed for me, and I think Jan can attest to it. She mentioned it earlier in the call, which is when your mindset shifts, all of a sudden it doesn't matter as much what are the things that you are eating or what choices you have. You're all of a sudden coming up with more creative ideas and creative solutions. You're seeing yourself in a different light. So it's not as important of what the quality of your food is when the quality of your mind is on point. If that makes sense. So that's one of the things that we talk about there. Let me just say real quick. I want to invite everyone to join us. We meet, like I said, Thursday nights. Oh, with the group, we talk about with the group, you get access to our Facebook community, which is super warm and encouraging. Talk about warm and comforting. We have comfort with each other. We can share our wins in that group. We share successes. We ask questions. I also have a form where you can just fill out a form each week if you would like, and ask a question anonymously, and I can answer that. In fact, I'm finding a way, by the way, little update for you guys. I'm realizing I think that I can answer that question on the form and email it back to you. So I think that's going to be like just another way for you guys to have access to me, because I've learned a thing or two in my 5 years of being at my goal, and basically been at this process for over 6 years, losing weight and keeping it off forever. And with that mindset shift, that takes time. That takes a little bit of time to sort of get to the bottom of it, figuring it out. what makes a difference? Like how do I think of like how can I get to the place where McDonald's isn't a big deal anymore? That I love me no matter what food I am choosing to eat. That I don't shame myself anymore for even things like how I look, what I'm dressed like. When I first started losing weight, my weight was I would wear a size 18, and I remember thinking, what can I do to make myself feel amazing in my body where I am and loving my body where I am right now? And that shift made it possible for me to accept who I was, where I was at that time, in order to feel amazing, to make better choices for myself, and then lose all that weight. Because guess what? If you're shaming your body even before you lose the weight, it's not just going to go away once you get to your goal. That was one of the things that I learned that I so appreciate, that if you don't start now, it's not like it's just going to magically appear once the number on the scale changes. Because I'm at that number on the scale, and sometimes my mind is still a mess. It doesn't matter. Let me just say the number on the scale is not what creates your positive feelings about yourself. It starts with that right now. So that's some of the things we talk about. So we get the Facebook community. You'll get, I counted them, hang on, 20 PDFs so far that I've created to help you with your weight loss journey. We also have 16 weeks worth of calls with topics, with teaching, with coaching, wonderful, wonderful support, wonderful, information. As you're watching other people getting coached, you yourself are getting the coaching and receiving and hearing and learning from their coaching experience. It's amazing. We also have, I'm trying to think, we have a video library, complete video library that talks about all the different steps, managing your mind, managing your food, confidence, our compelling reasons class that we did, which was super helpful. All those habits classes are going to be on there. We have 2 down. We have 2 more to go for the month. They're going to be amazing. And then, like I said, next month we'll be talking about some more things like that. So we meet weekly on Zoom on Thursdays at 7. And if you're interested in that type of program, that's available to you. In addition, I also meet one-on-one with clients. If you're interested in that, you just need to DM me or reach out to me, reply to any of the emails that are going to be coming. You'll be getting some emails. Just ask me about that. I'm happy to talk, and we'll set what we do. The way that works is I set up a one-on-one call with you. We talk for about an hour. And I go through and we figure out what it is that's keeping you stuck, keeping you where you are. And then I explain my process of how I help you get to where you want to go. It's individualized as opposed to a group. So that's available to you too. And I'm happy to talk to any of you guys about that as well. So I think that is everything. Let me just check some notes here real quick. Are there any questions? Okay. So who knew that that the baked good would be done and then the chili wouldn't? I guess I should have chopped some of that stuff ahead of time. But those guys, I hope you guys enjoy these recipes. This was so fun. It was great hanging out with you guys. I got some more to make. I'm gonna make some salads today. I have a pineapple. Gonna cut up my pineapple. I got fruit yesterday at the grocery store. No, Friday, because we have this big storm coming. The fruit is all cleaned and washed and ready to go in my fridge. So setting myself up for success for the week ahead. I'm so glad you guys could join me. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Take care. Have a good week. Bye.